What's going on, investors? In today's video, we're going to be going over a Bay Area real estate market update for November of 2021. And this is your first time on this channel, welcome. My name is Sean. I'm a real estate investor and hard money lender based in the Bay Area. And every month I do a Bay Area real estate market update. So if you're thinking of buying or selling a property in the Bay Area in the near future, then you definitely want to watch this video all the way to the end to understand the trends and statistics that define our real estate market. In these videos, I go over the market statistics for single family homes and condos and townhouses for Santa Clara County, San Mateo County, San Francisco County, Alameda County, and Contra, Costa County. Now, if you don't want to watch this entire video, feel free to skip to the county that pertains to your individual needs. So without further ado, let's hop on in. All right, the first one we're going to do is single family homes for Santa Clara County. So the first thing that we always look at is the average days on market and sales to list price ratio. And this is your first time watching one of these videos, don't be alarmed. These are just the common statistics that realtors use to determine the health of the market. So the first one is your average days on market. So this means how long a property has been sitting on the market once an agent puts it on the market. So in this case, the average days on market is 14 days. So as you can see here, it's in the same trends as before, between 13, 16, 15 days. All basically 2 weeks from when an agent puts a property on the market to when someone puts an offer on it and it gets accepted. Now, the average sales to list price ratio signifies what a property actually sells for versus what it was listed for. So sometimes people put in listings for $1 million. Well, this tells us what it actually sold for. In this case, we're about 109%. So that means that if you listed something for $1 million, then on average, it'll sell for $1,090,000 or 9% above $1 million. The next one we're gonna look at is the months of inventory. So months of inventory signify how long properties will be on the market if no more new properties were on the market and it kept selling at its current rate. So right now, it will take less than a month to sell all the properties in Santa Clara County, again, signifying that it's a very hot market. Normally, it should be 3 months. Like across the United States, 3 months is the typical average that signifies a normal market, where buyers and sellers are equal. But when it's under 1 month, it's usually a seller's market, and when it's over 1 month, it's more of a buyer's market. So looking at the number of homes for sale versus sold, we can see that there's more properties here that are being sold than there are on the market. So again, signifying that more properties are being gobbled up by buyers. Again, signifies more of a seller's market here. So we thought there was gonna be a big cool down, but we're not really seeing it right now. There's more properties being sold and less inventory. You'll see later down in the video that when these bars are reversed, when there's a lot of active listings and not too many being sold, that means there's property just being sat on the market, and therefore it's more of a buyer's market. You can go in there and get better deals. But here in Santa Clara County, not so much. If you look at the sales price over time, it did actually drop a little bit on average compared to what it was in September. So it went down from $2,040,000 to $2,011,000. So it went down by about 30 grand, not too much. Next thing we're gonna do is look at condos and townhouses for Santa Clara County. Okay, so for condos and townhouses, we can see that the average sales to list price ratio has gone up by a little bit, but the days on market have actually increased as well. So it takes a little bit longer than before to sell your condo, but you are getting a little bit more relative to your original listing price. The months of inventory here have remained relatively the same, about 1 month. And we have here that we are actually seeing more properties being sold than there are active. But actually, if you look at the trends, it looks like the number of properties being sold are around the same, if not less than before. It's just that we have less properties on the market in October. So there were just less condos in October being sold. And we can see here that the sales price has increased a little bit. Don't worry about this particular number because this says November of 2021. We're currently on November 1st. So this number is obviously skewed to whatever's closed today. But on average, it went up by just a little bit, right under $1 million. Okay, so next we're gonna look at San Mateo County single family homes. All right, so same, the days on market are pretty similar, hovering around 17 days for the past 4 months. And the average sales to list price ratio is a little bit higher than it was in September, just above 108%. Your months of inventory here are around the same as well, hovering around 1 month. And looking at the number of homes for sale versus sold, again, very, very similar to how it's been the past couple of months. So no real change here in San Mateo County. 441 active and 470 that were sold. Sales price over time has also remained a little bit flat, but it has still increased a little bit from September, but still not at its peak back in June. All right, now we're looking at condos and townhouses for San Mateo County. So we can see here that this seems very cyclical, but it's only hovering around 1%, from 105 to 104%. Right now, we're on 104%, so it's gone down a little bit, but your average days on market have remained the same as well, just hovering around 20 plus days. Months of inventory here, taking about 1.5 months. So as you can see, condos in Mateo County take a little bit longer than single family properties, but not as bad as it was last year. Look at this. Back during COVID times, it was 3.5 months of inventory. This was the bad times for condos. All right, looking at the number of homes for sale versus sold. So you can see here, it's a little bit different than what we had for single family properties. You have more properties here that are active than properties being sold. So it's more of a buyer's market for condos and townhouses in Mateo County. And you can see the prices have increased just a little bit, but overall down from where they were before, but not too much. 1011 versus 1068. All right, now let's go to San Francisco County and check out single family homes. So it looks like it's gone up a little bit. So now we're at 117%. So if you list a property for $1 million in San Francisco, you can expect to get 17% above that, or $170,000 extra. And your average days on market have actually decreased. So it looks like the San Francisco market is getting healthy. You can see that these sales to list price ratios are very high, and these days on market aren't too bad. I mean, they're not as good as they are in Clara County, but 19 days is still not too bad. Look at the months of inventory in San Francisco, it's about 1.5 months. And number of homes for sale versus sold, you have way more properties that are on the market than have been sold, but San Francisco is a strange market. Like, these people, I guess, are wealthy enough to not have to take a discount on their properties, so they just hold on to it and wait till the right offer comes in. And sales prices over time have actually increased from before, and we're now at $2.367 million. All right, now we're looking at San Francisco condos and townhouses. So now we have 106%, so it's gone up a little bit. And your days on market are now at 31 days. So it takes about a month to sell a condo or townhouse in San Francisco County. And historically, since COVID, condos and townhouses in SF have not been doing too well. If you look at the months of inventory, it'll take almost 4 months to sell all the condos and townhouses if they keep getting sold at its current pace. And the number of homes for sale versus sold, we have way more properties that are on the market than are being sold. So I think this is more of a buyer's market. If you want to get a property for quote unquote cheap, you want to be able to negotiate with the seller, you can probably look at San Francisco condos, because those things aren't moving too much. And if you look at sales price over time, you can see that they've actually increased. So 1.465 million. And this is probably the reason why we have issues with condos in SF. The price is too expensive relative to what you get. Of course, being in the city is amazing, but for $1.4 million, you can buy a nice home, like an actual single family home in the South Bay. And you're not having to deal with HOAs. You have to deal with the crowding or the homeless in your area, crazy parking situation. Most people can work from home anyway, so why not move somewhere else and take that $1.4 million and buy something bigger? That's the big issue with condos in SF. But if things open up again and people are going back to the city, then yeah, there's a definite possibility that your condo can increase in value. So if you're looking for a long-term play and you don't mind living in a condo, hey, SF is probably the best place for you. All right, so next let's look at Alameda County single-family homes. So you see we had this big uptick for the sales to list price ratio, and then went downwards, and now it's back up. This is called seasonality. You see how it's a trend here? It's like periodic. During the winter months, usually things go down, and during the spring and summer months, it goes up, and then during late summer and fall, it goes down, and then it goes up a little bit right before Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving, it pretty much slows down again, and you're back down here. Same thing with the seasonality with the days on market. So on these slower months, you have longer days on market, and during the spring season and early summer, days on market is really low because everyone's trying to buy a property then. During late fall, it slows a little bit, and yeah, so it's like cyclical, see, periodic. But right now we have 114% for Alameda County. Again, all these people who had this money from their tech jobs, they're now working from home. They want to buy a nicer house, so they're going to East Bay. So here's Alameda County. Everyone's fighting for it. 114%, 15 days on market. Same as it's been this whole year, right? Just crazy. Look at the months of inventory, we're under 1 month. So it is a very hot market here in Alameda County. The number of homes for sale versus sold is very interesting. This is kind of periodic as well. We're seeing more properties being put on the market. In October, there was a little bit less. So I think people have hunkered down, school started. They don't want to move their kids too much after school has started. And so we have less properties on the market. But then, likewise, you have less properties being sold too. So it's kind of in step. And there's like the sales price over time has gone to all-time highs. So in Alameda County, your average is $1.45 million now, which is pretty wild. Again, don't worry about this number. This is the 1st of November. Okay, now let's look at condos and townhouses for Alameda County. Okay, your average days on market is 105% with an average of 20 days on market. And here we're seeing the months of inventory are also relatively similar, just over 1 month. The number of homes for sale versus sold, wow, it's actually kind of inverted a little bit. So we have a little bit more properties that are on the market than are being sold. Maybe there's a little bit of a slowdown in condos and townhouses in Alameda County. Okay, sales price over time, it's gone up from September, but not really at its all-time highs yet. So we're at $768,000. Okay, finally, we're gonna look at Contra Costa County single-family homes. Wow, so again, don't worry about this chart. This chart had a bad number a couple months ago, and this is gonna persist for the rest of the year as this travels this way. So let's look at the actual data here. And we'll see that the average sales to list price ratio is 106% with an average days to sell 16. If we look at the months of inventory, we can see that it's been very similar, just under 1 month for the past few months. Here are the number of homes for sale versus sold. As you can see, there are more properties that are sold than are on the market, which means that it is very healthy for sellers to sell their property in Contra Costa County. But it looks like as the years go by, there's less and less properties that are being sold, while there's still a good amount of properties that are on the market. So this means that it's not as hot as it was before in June and May, especially. Look at this big discrepancy in April, but it's still pretty good. Okay, checking out sales price over time, you can see that it's relatively flat here. Same as last month. Okay, and finally, we're gonna look at condos and townhouses in Contra Costa County. So your average days on market have increased from 19 days to 22 days, which is higher also from 15 days back in August. So seems to be a slowdown in the condos and townhouse market in Contra Costa County. Your sales to list price ratio has also been pretty flat at just under 103%. So this is interesting, like everywhere else in the Bay Area, you're hitting almost 10% above asking. Here, you're getting about 3% more. So it's something, but it's not a lot. So your months of inventory here, again, about 1 month. So number of homes for sale versus sold. As you can see, back early this year, there was a lot more properties being sold. So it's a very fierce seller's market. Now, it's on par. So, so people aren't really fighting for homes as much as they were before. And sales price over time have increased by just a little bit, which is now the new record of $650,000. So that was it for the Bay Area market update for November of 2021. Let me know what you thought and if you were surprised at the results that came out. For me, I think this is normal. You're seeing some seasonality here where people have kind of hunkered down. People just aren't moving as much because the school session has already started. It's getting winter in the holiday season, so they don't really want to deal with moving and finding a property just yet. I think if you are going to buy a property in the Bay Area, now is a good time to start looking, getting pre-approved, start talking to agents, because in November and December, that's when you can really go in and start making aggressive offers. And there's gonna be less people who have their properties on sale and less people fighting for those same properties. You have a small gap between Thanksgiving and around Super Bowl weekend to find a good property and get under contract. After the Super Bowl weekend, usually the floodgates open and everyone's back on buying season, and you're gonna see another crazy buying spree. Interest rates are still incredibly low relative to what they normally are. So I recommend you just start talking to people, start deciding, do you want to buy a house? If so, now's a great time to just start looking. And if you guys need any help, definitely feel free to contact me. I can refer you to agents and lenders who can do a great job helping you out with buying your property. Again, thank you again so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please smash the like button to let YouTube know that you guys like videos just like this one. And if you haven't done this already, I highly encourage you guys to subscribe to the channel, to join the club, and get more great real estate investing content. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.